I'm Dana K. White of aslobcomesclean.com, author of Decluttering at the Speed of Life. And I teach the container concept again and again in so many different ways because the container concept changes everything in my home. So I am here in my laundry room where I, a little while back, made some changes because it was not working for me. Like it really wasn't working for me. So this shelf right here, because of the way that this room is and the way that that door is and how big my washer and dryer are, I could not open my washing machine all the way for over a year. I don't want to talk about it because now I'm like, oh my word, why did I not take care of this sooner? But whatever, I dealt with it and it was a huge pain and a huge hassle. And suddenly one day I just said, I've had enough, I'm done, I gotta change this, okay? And I looked and I thought, well, the problem is that I've got these shelves up here. You know, those shelves are full and the shelves are blocking my washing machine from being able to open. And if I was to turn my washing machine the way that it should go so that the shelves were not blocking it, well, then I would be completely blocked from my storeroom, which is back there. So it was like, I felt like it was this whatever, oh my goodness, I've got to do something about this. And I thought, I'm gonna get rid of that bottom shelf. And this was a great reminder to myself of the container concept and how using the container concept does not mean, okay, in case you don't know what I'm talking about, I am not talking about going out and buying new containers. I'm talking about viewing the space that I have as a container. Viewing the space, whether it's a shelf or a drawer or whatever, as the limit that I have. And the space that I have is the space that I have. And when I look at my space and think, how can I have a different space? I usually end up in a worse situation than I was in before because I go out, I buy more containers, try to make it all fit, it doesn't work for me. And instead when I say, you know what, this is my reality. The space I have is the space that I have and I need to declutter, get rid of stuff down to the point where what I have fits in this space. And 10 times out of 10, I end up being perfectly fine in that space. I didn't say 9 times out of 10. I said 10 times out of 10. Accepting the realities of my space is the key to my house staying under control, okay? And here's the thing. In my mind, I thought, well, it's 2 shelves worth of stuff. Ugh, what am I getting? And then I went, you know what? If I had moved into this house and only had 1 shelf there, what would I have done? I would have embraced the realities of that 1 shelf. I need there to only be 1 shelf in order for my washing machine to be able to have a lid that actually opens. And so I just said, okay, well, I'm just gonna embrace the reality of 1 shelf because 1 shelf is what will work for me in this home. Not where am I gonna put all my stuff, but instead, what can I keep on this 1 shelf that exists? Okay, the space I have is the space that I have. So when I looked at it that way, it was super easy and so crazy fast. In fact, okay, so it went from this 2 shelves that were pretty full to this in, let me just tell you the exact amount of time. Not down to the second, but down to the minute. Because why? Because there's timestamps. That's the beauty of before and after pictures, right? When I started, it was 12:31 and the picture where I had decluttered enough stuff that everything could fit just perfectly fine and accessibly on the top shelf was at 12:46. 12:31 to 12:46, that's 15 minutes. It took me 15 minutes to declutter down to the point where I didn't need that bottom shelf and I was able to live without that shelf, which is what I needed in order to be able to function well in my home, okay? When I looked at it that way, it became super obvious that, oh yeah, my swim hat, it doesn't go here. Oh yeah, that container full of bungee cords, this is not where we look for that. We look for that in another place. That's an easy item that has a home somewhere else, but for some reason it drifted here, okay? I did have to relocate my light bulbs, okay? But I just asked myself the question, if this space doesn't exist, then where would I look first for my light bulbs? This is where we had looked first for our light bulbs. Okay, this is where it was. But I needed light bulbs to be somewhere else because other stuff, it made sense. It was laundry stuff. It needed to be here. But those could go somewhere else. So I asked myself, okay, if this is not the light bulb spot anymore, where's the first place where I would look for light bulbs if I needed light bulbs? And into my brain came another space that's just actually right there in that room right there, okay? Which is another reason we need that room to not be closed off and blocked off. All right, so that is the story of accepting the reality of the space that I have. The space I have is the space I have. That's how the container concept works. Okay, do you think they're gone? The people who are new to the channel and don't know me and might accidentally get the impression that this was actually a DIY project, which it is not. It is so completely not. But I thought those of you who are used to being around here and who know how I roll and how I'm just like, I'm just gonna get it done, maybe you would want to see what I ended up actually doing in here, because you probably noticed the shelf is still sort of kind of there, and yet I can open up my washing machine. Yay! And so we're all happy. Everything's great. So how did I actually do this? Again, not a DIY project. Don't listen to me. Don't pay attention to me. I'm not giving any advice on how to do anything like this in your home. I'm just telling you what I did, and I am giddy and excited, and my whole family is excited that I got this done, as opposite of perfect as it is. All right, so how did this go? Well, I thought it was going to be easy. I thought I was going to get a hammer and knock that board right out of there, and it was going to be super easy. And I banged and I knocked and nothing happened. And I realized, well, that's harder than it looks on TV. And then I thought, oh, I know what, I'll get a jigsaw. My husband had just gotten this tool set that has the same power pack that goes with it. And I thought, I've always wanted a jigsaw anyway, so I'm gonna get a jigsaw. This is the perfect time. I had to look up to find out jigsaw was the thing that I think I needed. So I ordered a jigsaw, which meant, yes, I couldn't finish this project right away, but it was okay because I hadn't made a bigger mess. I hadn't pulled everything out and then thought, I'm gonna do this first before I do that. No, I had actually decluttered the space, which with my decluttering method means only progress, never a bigger mess, right? And so I could step away for a couple weeks until I finally got back to it, and I had my jigsaw, and I came in and thought, okay, all right, this is time, I'm gonna do this. So I finally had my jigsaw, and I got my safety goggles, because, you know, gotta be safe. And by that time, stuff had drifted back onto that shelf, which is fine, right? Like, it's totally fine. I just put the stuff where it goes, up on the shelf above, made sure everything was fine, embraced the realities of that space still. And then I got to jigsawing. Well, the first thing I realized when I was jigsawing was that sawing creates sawdust. It's like science or something. Which sawdust is super gross, and I did not want it all over my clothes, but it got all over my clothes that I had left on top of the dryer that I thought I wasn't gonna show y'all because I was just gonna, you know, not let that be in the frame, and then it became part of the story. And so here you go. There were clothes on top of the dryer. I learned my lesson. I shook those off. I may have rewashed them, I don't remember. And got those actually put away like they were supposed to be. And then I got out my shop vac and got to sawing, okay? So I sawed through and I realized, oh, this wasn't just one board laid across the shelf, it was actually two boards. And so when I got through with the first board, I then yanked and pulled. It was still not easy to get it taken completely out, but I did it, got that board out, and then I realized, wait a minute, that second board back there, I think I could just cut into that and then that just be a hole for my washing machine lid, and I wouldn't actually have to get rid of this shelf completely. And so that's what I did. I just cut a very unfancy hole. There is no actual footage of me cutting the unfancy hole because that would be dangerous, like super dangerous. I'm sure other people can do it. I doubt that they would film themselves doing that, but still, like, nobody wants me to do that. And then I had the board cut out, and look what happens. I actually still have a lot of my shelf there. I don't really need it, but I've got it. And I am able to open my washing machine. And I can't even tell you, even though this isn't pretty, nobody cares. Like, literally no one cares. My whole family is giddy, ecstatic, so excited. When Reed came home, I was like, Reed, look. And he was like, that's great, Mom. But he really was excited, I promise. That is so exciting that we can open up our washing machine door, top thing, whatever it's called. It is so exciting that we can do that. So it works. And if I had waited to do it perfectly and, like, you know, basically anyone else in the world would do, then we'd still be waiting and we'd still be frustrated and it would still be such a huge hassle every time that we wash our clothes. So totally worth it. And our reality is, yes, we have a guest bathroom back here. Nobody cares. I don't think anybody even notices. If they notice, they don't say anything. I mean, we try to only invite nice people to our home anyway. And so, you know what? If they ask, I'll explain it. And then I'll do what I always do and be like, yep. Because that's how I explain a lot of things in my life and in my house. And it's fine. And we're better off. But remember, the point of the video was the space you have is the space that you have. Don't try to fit your stuff into the space. Try to embrace the space and declutter your stuff until it fits in the space that already is there. That is how you're going to have a house that you can handle, that you can keep under control, that can stay under control easily, is embrace the reality of the space that you actually have, because the space you have is the space you have. That's the container concept. All right, it's been fun. I will talk to you later. Bye.